Welcome back. My name is Alicia Wilfert. I am a life coach and founder of Yoke and Abundance. Today we are talking about what personal core values are and why you need them. This is absolutely one of my favorite topics to talk about. I think that this very simple practice of identifying your personal core values and bringing yourself into alignment is one of the most powerful practices that you can have for yourself. This is your compass. Knowing your personal core values is what will bring you into alignment with your truest, most authentic self, and it will help you live a life that is meaningful to you. So, what are your personal core values? You've probably heard of core values for businesses, and that's great. Businesses absolutely need core values to help them stay pointed in the right direction, especially if people are actually using them as the guideposts. But personal core values can help us because they are the big rocks of life. So I love to tell a story. Stephen Covey, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he went ahead and he had this conference where he invited a woman up to the stage, and he had 3 buckets. He had one big bucket, and then he had rocks, he had pebbles, and he had sand. And he asked the woman to see if she could get all of the rocks, all of the pebbles, all of the sand into that one clear jar. So she tries. She puts in the sand and the pebbles, and then she goes to put the big rocks in, and she can't get them in. Here's what happened. Stephen Covey explains that the big rocks are the things in our life that are most important to us. So for some of us, that's going to be things like family, career, finances, health. Those might be someone's core values. Those are the big rocks. And when you put the big rocks in, here's what happens. So he gave her another jar. He gave her 3 other buckets of big rocks, sand, and pebbles. And he said, here's the thing. These big rocks, which represent the most important things in your life, put them into the jar first. So she puts them into the jar first. And then he says, okay, the pebbles represent the other things that are going on in your life, the things that you want to be doing. They're not the most important, but you want to be doing them, and dump those in. She dumped those in. They kind of went down and around, and they wiggled their way in. And then the sand is all of the noise of life, all of the distractions, everything else. Sometimes things that we think are important but aren't really that important. And she dumps that in. And guess what? Now everything fit. When you put the big rocks in first, then everything else contours around those big rocks. This is applicable to our life in that if we have not yet identified our personal core values, we are flailing. We don't actually know what rocks need to be put in first. I have so many clients that come to me and we'll do our Wheel of Life exercise, and then we do personal core values. We identify what those are. My personal core values are health, creativity, sovereignty, growth, and purpose or meaning. So those are my 5 personal core values. So here's the way that works in my life. I make sure that my core values are on the calendar first. I think about those as the big rocks in my life. And if I don't put those on my calendar first, my calendar gets filled up with all sorts of other things that are not important if I haven't blocked off those times for what's most meaningful to me. and that might happen to you as well. But when you know what the core values are, you can make sure that they are on the calendar, because how we spend our time is how we spend our life. So how do you want to be spending your life? When you know your core values, you can bring yourself into alignment with them and make sure that that is how you're spending your life. So that's what core values are. That is why you want to identify your core values. And here's the thing, I always do this practice with my clients. And what I find happen, it's so intriguing. It has an incredible ripple effect into their families. I've had so many people go home and do this practice with spouses, with partners, with family members, with their children, showing their children who are, age appropriate, 7 or 8 years old, explaining what core values are, and then asking your kids, what are your core values as well? So once you've identified those core values, it's easy to make those core values a bigger priority in your life. However, sometimes we identify our personal core values and we find that we are not currently living a life in alignment with those values. I can tell you that this is absolutely something that happened to me. So way back in 2017, it was January of 2017, I sat down and I took myself through the exercise that I now take all of my clients through. And what I did is I identified what my personal core values were, what I just outlined for you. One of them has changed over the years, but I identified those and I realized that the work that I was doing in the world did not give me the ability to make those core values a priority. I was not making my health a priority. I was not in a relationship that reflected my values either. So if you identify your personal core values and you find that you are not in alignment with them, the number one thing that I want you to do is to have compassion for yourself. Have compassion for where you are in your journey. And you don't have to make a hard left and change everything all at once. However, you can start identifying those small, teeny tiny baby steps to bring yourself into alignment with your own core values. So if this is speaking to you, this exercise is seemingly simple, and I have a downloadable for you in the description. Head to the link in my description to download the worksheet, Uncovering Your Compass, the 7 steps to identifying your personal core values. And then please let me know in the comments section what your personal core values are. If you like this video, please hit subscribe and share it with a friend. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you again tomorrow.